A platform is built for automation. The platform successfully prevents cyber attacks by utilizing accurate analytics, implementing automation, and delivering cloud-based applications. The Palo Alto integrates application of Palo networks, third-party, and customers. The analytics-based automation allows IT personnel to operationalize their security easily and consistently using best practices. Okay. Now, guys, before I start, before I go into, I just want to make understand over here that in Palo Alto we have analytics team, which will send updates about the, you know, app threats through Wildfire and many other third parties as well. So I'll show you a bit later on. The first one is to prevent successful cyber attacks. It operates with ease using best practices. Palo Alto focuses on what matters. That means it will automate tasks using context and analytics to reduce response time and speed deployments, consume innovations quickly, improve security effectiveness and efficiency with tightly integrated innovations. So your Palo Alto network security operation platform has the following components. First is your network security, basic security, like any other firewall, advanced endpoint protection, cloud security, cloud delivered security services, application framework and logging service, Palo Alto network apps, third-party apps, and customer apps. Okay. Now, Palo Alto uses something called as SP3, single pass parallel processing architecture, in which the traffic is passed through the firewall on a stream based, okay, on stream basis. And when the traffic is passing, your software will be checking the policy engine. That means the rules that you have defined. App ID, that means the application details. User ID, if you have any user-based rules. Content ID, what exactly are the signatures and the content of the particular application that you're accessing. Networking, that includes your egress, NAT, and everything. Okay. So this architecture is, using the software basis, and your hardware has two planes actually, control plane and data plane. Whatever you do to manage the firewall, it is on the control plane always, remember. Okay. And your networking, security, and context are running on the data plane. Okay. And this is hardware based, so that what happens whenever the traffic is passing, all this processing is happening at once. So that's why you get a high throughput speed in your Palo Alto devices, firewalls. Guys, clear? Any questions, anyone?
I'm good.
All right. So this talks about more about the theoretical part of it. So in addition to the single pass software, hardware is another critical piece of Palo Alto SP3 architecture. The management plane and data plane functionality on both physical and virtual firewall is integral to all Palo Alto network firewalls. These separate planes have dedicated hardware resources, CPU, RAM, and storage. Okay, so always remember that your Palo Alto firewall will have separate resources for control plane and data plane. Okay, and this makes them independent of each other. This separation means that heavy use of one plane will not adversely impact the other plane's performance. The control plane provides the management features of the firewall. That means firewall configuration, logging, and reporting. Okay, these three that you will do on that we perform are lying on the control plane. The data plane provides the data processing features of the firewall. That means signature matching, security processing, and network processing. Okay, so you can see right now that both the planes, they have their own resources, that is your CPU and RAM and storage for control plane. For data plane, it is only RAM and CPU. Okay, the management, you're doing configuration, logging, reporting. In data plane, you're doing signature matching. That means IPS, virus, spyware, okay, C hash and SSN. Security processing, you do app ID, user ID, URL match, SSL, IPsec, decryption also. Network processing, you do flow control, route lookup, that means the routing part, MAC lookup, QoS, and your NATing. Okay, now the zero trust model over here, we will just go look an example right now. So this is like your, what is mentioned over here is your legacy network. So earlier we used to have edge or a perimeter firewall, and it was just to take care of the inbound and outbound traffic from your ISP, okay, or towards the ISP, which is also known as your now north-south traffic in Palo Alto environment. Okay, and across the data center traffic is known as east-west. Okay, so if you do this, that this the only disadvantage was that obviously your perimeter firewall was taking care of the inbound and outbound traffic towards the ISP or internet, let's say. But your PCs and servers were not secure because there was no firewall in between or inside on-prem in your LAN. Okay, so that's why we moved to zero trust network. And in zero trust network, what happened, like we deployed the Palo Alto firewall in such a way that it will cover all the zones over here, okay, or LAN, different categories. So these different categories are defined as zones in Palo Alto. So Palo Alto is a zone-based firewall. Okay. Now, what are zones? The regions that you define for your in your data center are, I mean, that is, in context to your LAN, DMZ, or internet, whatever it is, you define them as zones actually. So in zero trust model, what happens? You try to inspect any traffic which is going from inside to internet, or inside to DMZ, or inside to PCI. Okay, so every traffic over here is getting inspected. That is the meaning of your zero trust network. That means you don't trust any of the devices, and you deploy security for all. Okay, guys, clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, guys, you might see that this is a panorama over here. Have you heard of panorama?
I've
Now,
heard of it.
okay, cool.
Oh,
So, okay, so I'll just give a brief, understanding of this. So, let's say, guys, if you take out a firewall, a new, hardware-based Palo Alto firewall, next generation out of the box, so you can take console and do all the configuration that we will see. Guys, just give me a moment here. I'm getting a call. 2 minutes. All right, so Palo Alto Firewall, what it does, you can take a remote and you can configure. Okay, now let's say in your company you have 16 Palo Alto firewalls, so that will be really a tough task to go ahead and configure, for firewalls, all the firewalls at once. So what Palo Alto has done, they have given us a product by name as Panorama, which is used as a common console, okay, to configure all the Palo Alto firewalls. Clear, guys? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So Panorama is the central management
Yes.
for Palo
Yes.
Alto?
Yes. Panorama is a central
Oh,
management for the Palo Alto. Have you worked with
okay.
Riverbed? Anyone? Riverbed? Have you heard of Riverbed? WAN
I've
optimizer?
heard of it. I think so. Heard of it, but I've not worked with it though.
Okay, so it's similar like Riverbed. To manage Riverbed devices at your head office or branch site, we have something called as CMC, Common Management Control. So through this, you can manage the headquarters, branch site, other branch sites like this. So it's the same thing. Panorama is a product that is the central uh, centralized device management product to manage your Palo Alto firewall. Okay, all right. Now, before we go into identify and configure firewall management interfaces, this is for guys who have joined today. Aditya, Sudesh, I'm just repeating. Okay. So guys, we will be using Eve and G as our simulator to create labs and practice Palo Alto. Anybody using Elaine, Eloy, or TK? Are you using Eve and G?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
yeah.
we do
I'm
have
using it,
it.
but I don't have the image for the Palo Alto yet.
Image I will give you. Don't worry about it. But
Okay,
you have
thank you.
Eve and G, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do.
All right, awesome. Okay.
So are we going to have like a black box and stuff with a guideline to follow?
Uh, I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
No, I was asking if within this class we're gonna have a lab with the guideline, like a topology to follow to do the lab in our own.
Yes. So
Okay,
we do have topol. Okay, let me log in and show it to you. I do have
awesome.
topology for all the topics, and then at the
Okay,
end we will have a common topology that you can practice. Okay, and if
all right,
you want,
good,
I will
good.
just send it to you in the email also. Topology.
No problem, sir. All
Thank
right,
you.
that'll
Ellen,
be good.
just to ask you, I asked for your introduction. So could you please care to give your introduction, like where you located?